unfortunately.
Closer to yours.
Can I just do that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is this just blocking my face?
If we're lucky.
Well, before we start, what are we talking about?
I think the exciting thing is that we're redoing volunteers. And people have been asking us for a while to redo volunteers. So coming soon is going to be Volunteers 2.0. And it's going to be standalone, right? We're going to have standalone volunteer events. So you'll be able to go in and create a volunteer event that can be its own thing, or you can attach it to anything on the system. You could attach it to a ticket event, you could attach it to a race, you could attach it to a membership organization, and that will then tie them together. And in the dashboard of the event, you'll have a link back. But the beauty of doing it this way is that you can have your volunteer coordinators just have access or deal with the volunteer dashboard. And the volunteer event is going to have its own website builder, its own email system.
Yeah, like right now, Volunteers lives inside the race dashboard.
Right.
So it's like hidden away, and it
it's
doesn't.
a subset, and it's kind of hard to give access to and for people to find.
And it doesn't share all the stuff that our other entities like ticket events, member orgs all share, email, reporting,
Right.
stuff like that. So.
Right, so think about
Once
how
we-
great it's going to be as a volunteer director that you can go in to your own dashboard and you can run your own reports and you can see exactly what's going on with the volunteers. You can contact them on your own. You can send a mass email to everyone telling them when to get there. Even send the emails based on groups. So, you know, water station volunteers come at this time. Packet pickup volunteers come at this time, and you can communicate with them individually.
And your volunteers will be able to link with your ticket events and your races. So if you have your volunteers in one report and you have a list of registrants and your others, if you connect them together, you'll be able to send emails to the correct people and make sure that they all live together.
Yeah, and in a sense, it feels like, especially from a race perspective, it feels like you're separating the worlds of your race director or your event director and your volunteer directors. And they have to talk to each other, but they don't really care about each other's stuff, right? Your event director just wants the volunteer director to go and handle all the volunteer stuff, and the volunteer director wants the event director to make event day go smoothly. So now they're not intertwined. They're connected, but they're their own worlds that each person can manage because they each have their own intricate tasks and things that they have to do.
Yeah, so in the same way that clubs became member orgs and got its makeover, we're going in and giving an extreme home makeover to volunteers.
Right, brought to you by the team that gave you member orgs. So, where are things now? With this is Monday, June 9th.
We have a volunteer event wizard, and the dashboard's in its works. We're redoing the UI of tasks, so it'll be a lot easier for people to create the tasks and the categories, and then the registration for volunteers will be even easier. Volunteers will be able to register for multiple tasks at a time in one registration flow. So right now that's in the works, is just updating that stuff and creating a new volunteer event dashboard.
Cool. So when that's ready, it'll be easy for me to go in and volunteer in an event and register myself, my wife, my daughter, all for different stations or doing different things in different time slots.
Yep.
That sounds pretty cool. So we have what are the other like generic features that are in there? It's email, it's website builder, the reporting, questions. Are we have
Volunteer
questions in
questions.
there? Can you open the door and ask Kiesel to send you the mock-up on Slack?
Let's just bring
and
him
then
in.
Something
Bring
we
Kiesel
can.
in. Special guest.
Andrew, can you also Slack Joel and have him make me a cup of coffee? Can you tell me a little bit about the new interface and how it works and the improvements there?
So one of the goals with this UI was just to make it kind of self-evident, like the structure of these tasks. The current UI for setup works pretty well, but it doesn't really reveal kind of the taxonomy of our concepts here. We have a category that contains tasks, that contains time slots. That's the basic structure of the whole thing. So now when we get to the point of the workflow where the user's ready to start creating volunteer tasks, we just kind of pre-fill those concepts for them. So we give them a default category. We even give them like 2 default tasks, and the tasks already contain some volunteer time slots. So as soon as they go in, they are exposed to and can understand quickly the entire structure of what a volunteer task is composed of.
Jeff, thank you so much for that. And thank you for your designs. You always do a great job. And you are the reason that we can make beautiful things, and you always set us up for success. Thank you. Let's see, I think in there, all of the other variables within each task is they're gonna remain the same. So you're gonna have things like priority, if they're public or not, age limits, what you wanna name them, all of that stuff it's gonna kind of stay the same, because we're doing something similar that we did with clubs and memberships, where the underlying database structure and how everything works with volunteers is pretty sound and has stood the test of time, and we don't feel like that needs to be all rewritten. That's a nice solid foundation. So what we're doing is keeping everything that's there and kind of building the layer over it. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna feel a lot better and work a lot better, and it also gives us that layer, that like interface type layer, so now we can do more with it. And by creating these this larger picture of a volunteer event, that gives us the ability to pull in all of our generic components that everyone knows and uses elsewhere, the things like email and website builder. So now you can take advantage of those features within this product.
Yeah. So with the new volunteer event tasks, the overall functionality will remain the same, but the UI will get a facelift, and it will be easier for your volunteer coordinators to go in and separate stuff by task and category, and it will just be easier to manage all those different moving pieces.
Right, and a lot of this is going to carry through to the registration process also for volunteers. And with all of this, the goal is to make things easier to look at, easier to kind of figure out what's going on, and easier to find your way down the path, that so you know where you're going and how you're going to get there. But just making things more efficient, cleaner, and easier to use. So this is starting to look pretty good. It's coming to life. When do you think this is going to go live?
I'm hoping to have volunteer events out and available for customers by the end of this summer.
That sounds great. Of course, we're still juggling membership tasks. We're still building the system out and adding features there, and always shifting priorities. So that's the goal. But I feel pretty good about it. I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be out soon. I think people are going to love this for the fall.